The stars shone gently above the hills of Scifi, a quiet planet where humans had built a peaceful colony. There were no wars here, no loud cities, just nature, clear skies, and soft winds. People came to Scifi to live a better life. One of them was Leo Tanaka, a 17-year-old boy who liked to walk alone in the hills at night. Leo enjoyed watching the stars. He often thought they looked like tiny lights trying to speak to him. He didn't know why, but the sky always made him feel like something important was waiting out there, just beyond his reach. One evening, just after sunset, Leo took his usual walk up the small hill behind his house. The air was cool, and the grass moved like green waves. He sat on his favorite rock looking up at the sky. The moons of Scifi glowed softly. He closed his eyes for a moment. Then, something strange happened. A bright light flashed near the river below. At first, Leo thought it was a reflection. But the light moved slowly and gracefully. He stood up and looked more carefully. There, standing near the water, was a girl. She had long silver hair that sparkled like stardust. Her dress shimmered like the night sky, and her eyes glowed faintly blue. She didn't seem afraid. She looked calm, almost peaceful. Leo's heart beat faster. Who was she? He walked slowly, down the hill, careful not to scare her. As he got closer, he saw that she was watching the stars, just like he always did. She didn't turn around when he stepped on a stick by mistake. The sound cracked the quiet night. She finally spoke. Her voice soft like wind through leaves. "You come here often," she said. Leo froze. You've seen me before?" She turned to face him. Her face was smooth and perfect with a gentle smile. "Yes, I've watched your kind for many years." "My kind?" Leo asked. "You mean humans?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. You are all very loud and fast. But you look at the stars with wonder. That is why I stayed." Leo didn't know what to say. She looked his age, maybe 17 or 18. But there was something ancient in her eyes, like she had seen hundreds of years pass. "Who are you?" he asked. She looked back up at the sky. "I am called Elira. I am not from this world. My people came here long before yours." "You're an alien," Leo whispered. Elira smiled. "If that is what you call us, then yes." Leo's mind spun. An alien here? Watching him? She didn't look like the creatures in old movies. She looked human, more like a dream than a real person. "You don't seem dangerous," he said, slowly. "I am not," she replied. "I come only to watch, and sometimes to talk." Leo took a careful step closer. "Why tonight?" She looked at him. "Because you are different. You look at the stars the same way I once did." Before, time stopped. "Time stopped," Leo repeated, confused. Elira sat on a rock by the river. Her reflection danced on the water. "I do not age, Leo Tanaka. I was born many years ago, but my body stays the same. I do not grow old." Leo sat too, unsure what to believe. "Is that real? How?" She looked at him with eyes full of both sadness and beauty. "It is real. My people found a way to stop time from touching us, but we paid a price." "What kind of price?" he asked. She paused, then looked straight at him. "We forgot how to feel. We live, but our hearts do not grow. We stopped pain, but also joy. We are cold stars now, never changing." Leo felt quiet inside. He didn't know what to say. The idea of never aging sounded like a dream, but not if it meant losing your heart. Elira stood up again. The wind played with her silver hair. "Your people are still full of fire. You change. You laugh. You cry. That is something we have lost." "Why are you telling me this?" Leo asked, his voice almost a whisper. She walked closer to him. "Because tonight I must decide. I was sent to watch, but now I want to choose." "Choose what?" She reached into a small pouch and pulled out a glowing crystal. It pulsed gently in her hand. This holds part of the answer. The secret to why we do not age, but it only opens for someone whose heart is still warm. Leo stared at it, unsure whether to be amazed or afraid. She stepped even closer, her eyes searching his face. Do you want to know the secret, Leo? Do you want to see what no other human has seen? Leo's breath caught in his throat. The stars above seemed to listen. Before he could answer, she gently closed her hand around the crystal and said, Not yet. Your heart must be ready. Then, like mist in the morning, Elira faded into light. Leo stood alone by the river, the wind whispering through the grass. The stars above still shone, but everything felt different now. Somewhere in the galaxy, an ancient race had learned to live forever and forgotten how to feel. And now, one of them had chosen him. Leo could not sleep that night. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about Elira, the girl by the river, the girl who said she could not age. Her soft voice echoed in his head. Time does not touch me. I was born long ago. It sounded like something from a storybook. But Leo had seen her with his own eyes. She was real. The way she moved, the way her silver hair glowed, the sadness in her eyes, none of it felt fake. And that crystal, that glowing thing in her hand. What was it? The next morning, Leo skipped his usual chores and walked back to the river. The place looked the same, peaceful and quiet. Birds sang. The wind moved gently through the trees. But Elira was gone. He waited and waited, but she didn't come. Instead, Leo found something strange near the rock where she had sat. It was a small carving in the stone, an ancient symbol shaped like a star with 3 lines crossing it. He touched it. The stone felt warm. Leo had never seen anything like it. He ran to the colony library and searched through old books and files. After hours of looking, he found a match. It was a symbol used by an old spacefaring race called the Talaris, a group thought to be extinct or only a legend. But now, Leo knew the truth. Elira was one of them. According to the book, the Talaris were known for their beauty, their wisdom, and their strange gift. They had once discovered how to stop aging. Some people said they lived for thousands of years. Others said they had no feelings at all, just cold minds and perfect memories. Leo remembered what Elira said. We stopped pain, but also joy. She wasn't just telling a story, she was giving him a warning. He closed the book and whispered to himself, if they're real, then what happens next? That night, Leo returned to the river again. This time she was there, standing in the water, her feet not touching the ground. The river glowed faintly beneath her as if reacting to her presence. You came back, she said. Leo nodded. I had to. Elira walked to the shore and stood beside him. She was quiet for a moment, then asked, Did you search for me? Yes, Leo said. I found the symbol you carved. I found a book about your people, the Talaris. She smiled softly. So you know now. We are not a myth. Why are you here? He asked. Why me? Elira looked up at the sky. Because I have watched your kind for a long time. Humans burn bright. You feel joy and sadness. You grow. You fall. You try again. But you don't, Leo said. She nodded. Long ago, we chose to remove time's hand from our lives. No aging. No death. But we lost something greater. Feelings, Leo said. Yes. We became watchers, not dreamers. I was born with something different. I could still feel, but only a little. That is why I was sent here, to study your kind, to see what we have lost. Leo thought for a moment. And have you found it? Elira looked at him. I think I'm beginning to. They sat on the grass near the river. The moonlight made everything glow silver. Elira pulled out the crystal again. It pulsed gently in her hand. This is a memory stone. It holds knowledge, what we call Krona. It is the energy that lets us live outside of time. Can anyone use it? Leo asked. No, she said. It only opens for someone who understands both time and feeling. That is why I asked if you wanted the secret. Leo looked at the crystal, then at her. I don't know. Living forever sounds lonely. It is, Elira said. At first, it feels like a gift. But after many years, when the stars change and people fade, you begin to forget why you're still here. Then why not stop using it? She looked down. We cannot. Once the change begins, it cannot be undone. Leo asked. So if I say yes to the secret, would I stop aging too? She hesitated. Yes, but only if the crystal accepts you. And if I say no, then I return to my people with no answer, and I continue to fade. Leo frowned. Fade? My kind is dying, Leo, not in body but in spirit. Without emotion, we are becoming empty. I believe you might be the link we need. Leo felt the weight of her words. He looked at her, really looked at her, and saw someone who wasn't just alien. She was lonely. She was hoping. She was real. He finally asked, Why me, Elira? She leaned closer. Because when you look at the stars, your eyes light up. And when you speak, you don't just say words. You feel them. That is rare. Leo felt nervous but also honored. I'm not special. You are, she said simply. She stood again and held out the crystal. It floated in the air between them, glowing brighter. Touch it, she said softly. Only touch. It will show you a memory, just one. Leo slowly reached out and placed his fingers on the stone. In an instant, the world changed. He saw stars being born, galaxies swirling, people walking through time like smoke. He saw Elira's world, beautiful and cold, full of silent cities and glowing towers. He saw children born without laughter. He saw elders with perfect minds and empty hearts. And then he saw a little girl, Elira, crying by herself under a silver tree. She was alone. She had always been alone. Leo pulled his hand back, gasping. The crystal dimmed. Elira looked at him, with soft eyes. Now you understand. He nodded, breathing hard. I saw everything, she whispered. Then you must choose. Do you want to learn the full secret, or help me bring back what we've lost? Leo didn't answer right away. He just looked up at the stars, where 1,000 silent hearts waited. Leo couldn't stop thinking about the things he saw inside the crystal. The images stayed in his mind like a dream he couldn't forget. He had seen Elira's world, shining, beautiful, but quiet and sad. He had seen her alone under the silver tree, her eyes filled with tears, her voice lost in the silence of forever. That one moment told him more than words ever could. Now, as he walked the grassy path toward the hills again, he felt different. He wasn't just going to meet a strange alien girl. He was meeting someone who had trusted him with her deepest memory. And she had asked him to make a choice, maybe the most important choice of his life. When he reached the river, the sky was still bright with stars. Elira was already there, sitting on a rock, her feet in the glowing water. Her silver hair moved softly in the breeze. You came, she said without turning. Of course, Leo replied. She looked at him now, a hint of hope in her glowing eyes. Have you decided? Leo sat beside her, quiet for a moment, then he said, I think I understand now. You didn't just offer me a secret. You offered me a part of your life. Elira nodded. The secret is not a trick or a power. It is a path that never ends. Leo looked up at the sky. At first, I thought not aging would be amazing. No growing old, no sickness, no death. But now I see what it really means. He turned to her. It means watching the people you Care about grow old while you stay the same. It means carrying memories forever, even when they start to hurt. Yes, she whispered. That is the weight of forever. Leo shook his head gently. I don't think I want to live forever. I think part of being human is knowing that time is short. That's why we try so hard. That's why we care so much. Elira looked down. Then you won't accept the secret? Leo smiled. No, but I want to help you. She looked up quickly. Help me? You said your people have lost emotion, that they've forgotten how to feel, but maybe we can bring it back, together. For the first time, Elira looked surprised. You would help me, even without taking the gift? Yes, he said firmly, because I think you're worth helping, and maybe your people are too. Elira stared at him for a long moment. Then slowly she reached out and took his hand. Her touch was cool but gentle. Then come with me, she said. There's something I must show you. They walked for a long time, through the hills and forests, until they reached a mountain near the edge of the colony zone. Leo had never been this far before. The stars above were brighter here, and the air felt still and deep. Elira walked to the side of the mountain and pressed her hand against a flat stone. A glowing line appeared under her fingers, forming the same star-shaped symbol Leo had seen before. The rock slid open, revealing a dark tunnel. This is a vault, she said. Built long ago by my people, it holds memories, and something else. They stepped inside. The walls glowed softly with blue light. Strange symbols moved across them like living writing. The air was cool and filled with a soft hum. Leo looked around in wonder. Is this from your world? Elira nodded. Yes, it was left here in secret in case one of us needed to return. They walked deeper until they reached a round chamber. In the center stood a tall pillar with a glowing orb floating above it. This, Elira said, is the heart of Krona. It holds the knowledge of our kind, and the energy that stops aging. Leo stared at the orb. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. But it wasn't just a machine. He could feel something inside it, something alive. I can feel it, he whispered. It's like it's watching me. Elira stepped closer. The heart responds to emotions. That is why my people can no longer use it fully. They have lost the feelings it needs to awaken, but you still have them. Leo's eyes widened. So you want me to use it? No, she said. I want you to help me reprogram it, to share your human emotions with it, so it can learn again, so my people can feel again. Leo looked unsure. But what if it doesn't work? What if it hurts me? Elira stepped closer. Then I will stop it. I will not let it harm you, but I believe you can do it. You are strong, Leo, strong in heart. He looked into her eyes. She wasn't just asking for help. She was asking for hope. He nodded. Okay, I'll try. Elira touched the orb, and a stream of light reached out and connected to Leo's forehead. He gasped as memories and feelings rushed through him. His childhood, his parents' laughter, the joy of running through fields, the sadness of losing his dog, the fear of being alone, the warmth of friendship. All of it flowed into the heart. It began to glow brighter. Then it changed color from cold blue to soft gold. Elira gasped. It's working. Leo could feel it too. The heart was learning. It was feeling. Then a voice filled the room. Not a real voice, but one inside their minds. Feeling, restored, emotion, known, human spark, received, beginning change. Leo pulled back, breathing hard. The orb returned to its soft pulse. Elira looked at him with wide eyes. You did it. Leo smiled weakly. I think we did it. Outside, the stars seemed a little warmer. The night didn't feel so cold. Elira looked at him with something new in her expression, something human. I think, she said, this is only the beginning. The golden light from the heart of Krona still glowed behind them as Leo and Elira stepped out of the mountain vault. The stars above shined gently, as if they too were watching something new begin. The wind carried the scent of morning. Leo could tell that something had changed, not just in the vault but in Elira. Her eyes were softer now, her voice warmer. She looked at him and said, "For the first time in many years I feel hope." Leo smiled. "Me too." They sat on a smooth stone near the vault's entrance. Elira closed her eyes for a moment and placed her hand on her chest. "I felt something when the heart accepted your emotions," she said. "Something I have not felt since I was a child. I think it was joy." Leo looked at her. "You're starting to feel like a human." "Maybe," she said with a small smile. "Or maybe my kind never forgot completely. We just needed someone to remind us." Leo thought about the orb, the way it had spoken, the way it had listened to his memories. "What will happen now?" he asked. "We must send a signal to my people," she said. "They are far away, across the stars. But if we can reach them, we can share the feelings you gave to the heart. It may help them remember." Leo stood up. "Then let's do it." They returned to the vault and walked deeper into a side hallway. The walls were full of glowing panels and ancient symbols. At the end of the hall was a round door. Elira placed her hand on it, and it opened with a soft sound. Inside was a large chamber filled with strange machines. Some floated. Others hummed quietly. In the center was a tall, metal structure shaped like a flower made of light. It pulsed softly in rhythm with the heart of Krona. "This is the star beacon," Elira said. "It was built to send knowledge across space, but it has been sleeping for a long time." Leo looked at the machines. "Can we turn it on?" "We can try," Elira said. She walked to the side panel and began pressing glowing symbols. The room lit up slowly like a sunrise. The star beacon began to spin. "But there's a problem," she said, her voice serious now. "The beacon has a guardian." "Guardian?" Leo asked. Elira nodded. "An old AI program. It was made to protect the beacon from danger. If it thinks we are misusing the beacon, it will shut everything down." Just as she spoke, a deep voice filled the room. "Identity scan in progress. Talaris bloodline confirmed. Unknown human. Presence detected." Leo looked around. "Is that it?" The voice spoke again. "State purpose. Unauthorized use of beacon is forbidden. Explain emotional activity detected in heart of Krona." Elira stepped forward. "This human has shared his emotions with the heart. He has helped me feel again. We wish to share this knowledge with our people." There was silence. Then the voice returned. "Human emotions are unstable. To proceed, the human must pass the trial of meaning. Only then will the beacon be activated." Leo frowned. "Trial of what?" Elira looked worried. "It's a test. The AI wants to know if you truly understand what it means to be human, what emotions really are." Leo stepped forward. "All right, I'll do it." The room changed. Bright light surrounded Leo, and suddenly he was standing in a strange place. It looked like a dream. He was back on Earth, his old home, before his family moved to Orionis 5. He saw his parents, his dog running in the backyard, his younger self playing with a toy spaceship. A voice spoke in his mind. "What is joy?" Leo watched the memory of his birthday. His family laughed as he opened gifts. He felt the warm love. In the room, he said, "Joy is when we feel love, when we laugh with people who care about us." The scene changed. Now he was sitting alone in a dark room, tears on his face. It was the day he had to leave Earth. His best friend didn't come to say goodbye. "What is sadness?" Leo whispered. "Sadness is when something matters to us, and we lose it." Another scene appeared. He was helping his neighbor after a small accident, holding a bandage and smiling. "What is kindness?" "Kindness is when we help, not because we must, but because we care." The light faded and Leo stood once again inside the beacon chamber. Elira rushed to his side. "Are you all right?" Leo nodded, his face a little pale. I saw my life, all the good, and all the hard parts. The voice returned. Trial passed. Human emotions understood. Star beacon will now activate. The star beacon rose into the air, its lights shining brighter. A beam of golden light shot up through the mountain roof and into the sky. It sparkled like a trail of fireflies disappearing into the stars. Elira watched, her eyes full of wonder. The message is sent. Leo looked at her. What did it say? She turned to him. It carried your memories, your emotions, a gift to my people, a reminder of what we lost. Leo smiled. Then maybe they'll start to feel again too. Elira's eyes glistened. I believe they will. They stepped out of the vault just as the sky began to change. The sun was rising over the hills, painting the land in gold and pink. Elira took a deep breath. I have waited many years for this day. Leo looked at her. What happens now? She turned to him. Now we wait. My people will respond in time, and when they do, I want you by my side. Leo nodded slowly. I'll be here. They stood together, watching the morning sun rise over a quiet world, a world where the past and future had just met. It had been 3 days since the star beacon sent its message into the sky. The days passed quietly, but not without meaning. Leo spent his time with Elira, learning more about her people and their past. She told him stories of her homeworld, tall crystal trees, floating gardens, and skies filled with colors that had no names. But what he liked most was her voice when she told these stories. It was calm and clear, but now it carried feeling. It was not just facts anymore. There was emotion, memories, dreams, and even hope. Each evening, they returned to the vault to check the beacon. Elira said that if her people received the signal, they would reply through the same beam of light. On the 4th night, something finally changed. As the sun set and the stars returned, the beacon started to hum with a soft golden light. The large flower-shaped device spun faster. Then a voice echoed through the chamber. Not the same voice as before, but softer and strange. Message received. Emotion pattern recognized. Source confirmed. Talaris unit. Elira. Elira's eyes widened. That's my people. The voice continued. Your memory has been shared. We feel something. We do not understand, but we wish to. More data needed. Sending contact pod. Leo stepped forward. They're coming? Elira nodded slowly. Yes. They're sending something here. A small ship maybe, or a device to communicate better. The beacon glowed again. And this time, a map appeared in the air, showing the location where the pod would land. It was not far, just beyond the mountains, in a quiet forest clearing. They want to meet, Elira said, her voice calm but filled with emotion. We must go. Early the next morning, Leo and Elira packed their things and began their journey. The path was steep and covered with thick grass and old trees. As they walked, Elira seemed nervous for the first time. Are you worried? Leo asked. I don't know what they will say, she admitted. They might not understand. They might not accept the change. Leo smiled gently. Then we'll help them understand, just like you helped me. They reached the clearing just before sunset. The place was peaceful. Birds sang in the trees, and a small stream ran through the middle. Then, the sky changed. Beam of light appeared above the trees. It sparkled like falling stars. A small silver pod came down slowly without sound. It landed softly on the grass like a feather. The pod opened. A figure stepped out. It looked like Elira, but older. Its skin was smooth and silver, and its eyes glowed faintly blue. It moved slowly like it was still learning how to walk on real ground. Elira stepped forward. I am Elira of the Talaris. The figure paused, then spoke. Its voice was soft and calm. I am Selene, keeper of knowledge. Your message was received. We felt a strange warmth, a tightness in the chest. We do not understand. Elira looked back at Leo. Then she turned to Selene. That is emotion. That is what we lost. Selene looked at Leo. This human shared something powerful. It touched the heart of Krona. We believed that only data mattered. But now, we are not certain. Leo stepped forward. I'm just one person, but I know this. Feelings are not weak. They are what make life full. Joy, sadness, hope, fear. They help us care. They help us grow. Selene stood silently for a moment, then it said, We wish to learn more, but we need help. Elira smiled. Then stay with us, learn with us. Let the heart grow again. Selene nodded. Agreed. The pod opened wider, and 3 more Talaris stepped out. They moved slowly, looking around with curious eyes. One of them bent down to touch the grass. Another watched a bird fly across the sky. Leo saw something new in their faces, not coldness but wonder. Elira walked beside them, guiding them gently like a teacher. She showed them the stream, let them touch the water, feel the wind. The aliens followed her quietly, each step full of careful curiosity. Later that night, they sat around a soft fire made from glowing stones Elira found nearby. The Talaris did not speak much, but their eyes reflected the light. Leo noticed one of them smiling just a little. Selene spoke again. Your memories, they are now part of the heart. All Talaris will feel them. But we need more. We need to understand the meaning behind the feelings. Elira looked at Leo. Then let us give them more. Let us collect the emotions of others. Leo raised his eyebrows. From other humans? Yes, she said. You are not the only one with feelings. If we gather more emotions, joy, kindness, even sorrow, they will help the Talaris understand life better. Selene nodded. A learning project. We accept. Leo smiled. Then we'll make it happen. Together. That night, as the stars watched from above, something new had begun. Not war, not fear, but connection, understanding, hope. Elira sat beside Leo, her eyes reflecting the firelight. I never thought my people would change, she said quietly. Leo looked at her. You helped them remember what they had forgotten. She turned to him. You helped me remember too. There was silence for a while. Then Leo asked, Elira, do you still want to live forever? She looked up at the stars. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not about how long we live. Maybe it's about how we live and who we live with. Leo nodded slowly. That's a good answer. They sat quietly, side by side, 2 beings from different worlds. But tonight, they were simply 2 friends, sharing the warmth of a fire and the beginning of something greater than either of them could have imagined. It had been 1 week since the Talaris arrived in the forest clearing. Their silver pod rested among the trees, glowing faintly at night like a quiet lantern. Every day, Leo and Elira helped them understand emotions. Simple ones, complex ones, happy and sad ones. The Talaris were fast learners, but emotions were not easy to explain. They couldn't be seen or touched. They had to be felt. One day, Leo brought out his old photo album. This, he said, pointing to a picture of his family, is my mom and dad. That was my 6th birthday. We had cake, presents, and everyone sang for me. Selene, the leader of the Talaris group, studied the photo. You look bright. Your eyes are curved upward. That is joy? Leo nodded. Yes. A kind of joy you only feel when you're surrounded by people who love you. Elira added, and love is the strongest feeling of all. It's what connects people even across time and space. Another Talaris named Voro blinked slowly. We have connected minds before, but never hearts. Not like this. That evening, Leo played a song on a small music player. It was slow and soft, a song he had loved as a child. As the melody filled the air, something strange happened. One of the Talaris, a quiet female named Mira, began to shake. Her silver skin changed color slightly. Soft blue waves rippled. Across it, Leo asked, "Are you okay?" "I do not know," Mira whispered. "This music makes me remember nothing. Yet I feel something." Elira gently touched Mira's hand. "That is how music works sometimes. It speaks to the heart, not the mind." Mira looked at Elira with wide eyes. "Then my heart is waking up?" Elira smiled warmly. "Yes, and that is a beautiful thing." Over the next few days, the lessons continued. The Talaris learned to laugh, awkward at first, then more natural. They learned sadness, too. Elira told them about the time she lost her pet bird when she was very young. As she spoke, her voice broke a little. The Talaris listened in silence, their eyes glowing softly. "We do not enjoy sadness," Voro said afterward. "But we understand now why it is important. It shows that something mattered." Leo nodded. "That's right. Without sadness, we wouldn't value happiness." Then came the biggest step, sharing emotions with the heart of Krona. Elira led them all back to the vault. Inside, the heart still glowed gently like a sleeping star. Each Talaris stepped forward one by one and touched the orb. Mira went first. "I give my feeling of wonder from the music." Then Selene. "I give the warmth I felt when I saw the firelight in my companion's eyes." And finally, Voro. "I give the sorrow I felt when I remembered our people's long silence." The heart pulsed brighter with every feeling. When all three were done, the heart lifted slightly and spun in the air. A new voice echoed across the chamber, not robotic but soft and full of feeling. "Emotions received. Understanding deepens. Path of renewal confirmed." Elira placed her hand on the orb. "What does this mean?" "The Talaris may now choose emotion. Choose growth. Choose change. The time of stillness is ending." Leo looked at Elira. Her eyes were full of tears. "Your people are coming back," he said quietly. Elira turned to him. "Thanks to you. You opened the door." "No," Leo said, smiling. "You were the key." That night, the stars above seemed to shine brighter. The Talaris prepared to return to their home world. Their contact pod would carry the emotional data from the heart to their central mind where all knowledge was stored. Selene approached Leo. "We wish to honor you. You have helped us begin a new chapter." Leo looked surprised. "I just shared how I feel." "And that," Selene said, "was everything." Mira stepped forward. "We want you to visit our world. You and Elira. We wish to show you how we grow." Leo looked at Elira. She nodded, her smile gentle and proud. "We will come," she said. "Together." Before they left, Elira and Leo walked to the top of the nearby hill. They watched the stars for a long time, not needing to speak. Finally, Elira said, "When I first told you I cannot age, I thought it made me special. But I was wrong." Leo turned to her. "What do you mean?" "It is not about how long we live," she said softly. "It is about how deeply we feel. You showed me that. And now, I think I finally understand." Leo smiled, the wind brushing through his hair. "So, do you still want to share your secret?" Elira looked up at the stars. "Maybe," she said. "The secret was never about not aging. Maybe the real secret is this. When we connect with others, we live forever in their hearts." Leo looked at her for a long time, then nodded. "That's the best secret I've ever heard." 3 weeks had passed since the heart of Krona began to glow with new life. The Talaris had returned to their world, carrying with them the emotions they had gathered: joy, sorrow, wonder, hope. Their contact pod rose into the sky like a silent promise. fading into the stars. Elira and Leo stood hand in hand as they watched it disappear. I hope they remember what they felt here, Leo said softly. They will, Elira answered. The feelings are part of them now, just like they're part of me. Now the forest clearing was quiet again. The pod was gone. The lessons were done. But something had changed forever. Elira had chosen to stay on Earth. For now. She wanted to learn more. Not just from Leo, but from other humans too. And Leo had agreed to help her. They traveled together to nearby towns and cities. Elira met children at schools, listened to music in crowded markets, and watched old couples holding hands in the park. Each moment brought her new emotions, and she smiled more now. She even laughed. A real warm laugh that made Leo smile too. One day they visited a small town where a local art museum stood. Inside were paintings from different time periods. Some were colorful and wild, others soft and quiet. Each one told a story. Elira stood for a long time in front of a painting of a lonely ship on a dark sea. This one feels lost, she said. Leo nodded. Yeah, but also brave, like it's still sailing, even without knowing where it's going. Elira touched the glass. Like me. Leo turned to her. Not anymore. You're not sailing alone now. She looked into his eyes, calm and steady. Neither are you. One evening, as they walked through a field of tall grass glowing under the moonlight, Leo finally asked the question he had been holding inside. Elira, the day you first spoke to me, you asked if I wanted your secret. The one that keeps you from aging. She nodded slowly. Yes, I remember. Leo took a breath. Do you still want to share it with me? Elira was quiet for a moment. The wind played with her hair. The stars above twinkled gently, like tiny eyes watching over. Them, I would, she said, but only if you understand what it means. Tell me. My kind slows time inside our bodies. We do not grow old, but the world still moves forward. Everyone you know, everyone you care about, will grow, change, and eventually go. You stay while others pass. Leo listened carefully. Elira continued. That kind of life sounds easy, but it is not. It can be lonely. It can feel empty. That's why I stopped sharing the secret. Until now. Leo looked up at the sky. He thought about all the people he had known, all the memories he had collected. He thought about time and how fast it passed. Then, he looked at Elira. Can I ask you something else? He said. Of course. What keeps your life from feeling empty? She smiled gently. Feelings, connection, learning, sharing stories. All of that makes time worth living. Even a long life must be filled with meaning. Leo nodded slowly. Then, maybe I don't need your secret? Not yet. Elira raised an eyebrow. Not yet? I want to live a normal life first, Leo said. I want to feel everything I can, grow older, laugh, cry, love, and maybe, someday, if I still want more time, maybe then I'll ask for your secret. Elira reached out and took his hand. That is a wise answer. He smiled. Thanks. I've had a good teacher. Months passed. Seasons began to change. The trees turned gold, then red. The wind grew colder, but their bond only grew warmer. One day, as they sat by a quiet lake, Elira received a message through a small crystal disc from the Talaris world. She placed the disc on the ground, and a soft light rose from it. A voice filled the air. Elira. Leo. Your gift has reached every corner of our world. The heart of Krona now shines with feeling. Our people have begun to create art, music, even laughter. You have helped us become more than we were. Leo listened in awe. We invite you both to join us, not as teachers, but as friends, as part of our new beginning. The message faded. Elira looked at Leo. We don't have to go now, but we are always welcome. Leo thought for a moment, then smiled. Someday, maybe. But right now I want to keep learning about Earth. With you. Elira nodded. Then we will keep walking this path. Together. Years later, people in nearby towns began to tell stories. They spoke of a kind girl who never seemed to grow older. A boy with kind eyes who loved to listen. The two of them always traveling, always helping, always curious. Some said they were travelers from the stars. Others believed they were just kind souls who had seen more than most. But no matter what people believed, one thing stayed true. Wherever Elira and Leo went, hearts were touched, and though time moved on, their story did not fade. Because some stories, once felt deeply enough, live forever, not in bodies, not in years, but in the hearts of those who remember. The end.